Alright, how's it going, guys? Jeremy Winslow here with Ground Punch, and today we are going to be playing Mighty Number 9. Keiji Inafune's newest game with his company Concept, published by Deep Silver. This game has been out for a couple of days now. It was released on the 21st of this month, so today is, well, depending on when you're watching this, it should have been out for a week. At any rate, here we are playing this game. I was scheduled to review the game for Ground Punch, but I decided to cancel that because I really hate this game. It's not so much a hate as it is a strong dislike, I guess. You know, it's really hard because there are a lot of really good ideas in this game, which is excellent, but it is too much of a Mega Man clone. If you didn't know, Keiji Inafune is he was the lead designer of this game, and he is the man known for Mega Man, pretty much. He's created all of the Mega Man games, which has made him incredibly popular, so that is why you may be familiar with him. If you are not, you probably have lived under a rock for your entire life, which is not surprising. Well, kind of surprising. Anyway, here we are, Mighty Number 9. This is more so a discussion than it is a review, so let's just go ahead and jump right in here. And we'll get going. So we're going to continue.
All right, quit your lollygagging. It's up to us to stop those rampaging bots.
So a couple things wrong with the game. For one, as you heard, the voice acting is horrible. It's too slow. It's sluggish. It is unrealistic. It's too exaggerated. It's just bad. The game itself is okay. It has its roots deep in Mega Man, obviously, which is fine, but it doesn't do anything too different from Mega Man to separate it. So, as you can see here, there are 8 levels. 8 stages. There are technically 12. After you finish the initial 8, you do get 4 more additional stages that you can play through. And you can play through these in any order that you want, much like the original Mega Man games as well. So there isn't a designated path to play through the story missions. Unlike Mega Man, though, there is a subtle, or I guess a discrete order in which you should beat the bosses, because certain power-ups are better used in certain levels. In this game, it doesn't necessarily matter. Clearly, I have not finished all of the levels, and that's because the game is poorly optimized. So it's coming out on, or it is out on Windows, PS3, PS4, Wii U, and Xbox One, and it is coming in the future, supposed to be, quotes, coming to 3DS, PS Vita, Xbox 360, Mac, and Linux. PC, the PC verse meaning Steam, I imagine, unless you're able to run it just through the computer's operating system, which may be an option. I'm not 100% sure, but because the game is coming to so many platforms, it is terribly optimized. I'll try to get a clip of some frame rate issues that I've had, but there have been reports of the Wii U game crashing. There have been reports of straight freezes. For me, there are frame rate dips where the game stutters. I'm sure you're familiar with a frame rate dip, but then there are also hard stutters, which the game would pause for a moment and I would end up in another area of the level, thus killing me because I hit some insta-kill part of that level, whether that be I land on the freeway in one of the stages, or I just end up in a fire, or something topples on top of me and I instantly die. Typically those aren't my fault, and that's because the game's optimization, whether it's in the code or the fact that it's ported to so many systems, is atrocious. So with that, we are going to go ahead and get into a level. Let's do, we'll do Aviator. We'll do the Aviator level.
All set, then?
So you play as Beck, who is a mighty number. The object of the game is to collect your pals, so to speak. There are 2 scientists, Mr. Sonata or Dr. Sonata, as you saw, the big guy with the atrocious voice acting.
Mighty number 6 must be transmitting from the apex.
Sorry to make
Right there, that's Dr. Sonata, or sorry, Sonda. And then there's Dr. White, who is the creator of Beck, and he, for lack of better, I guess, explanation, well, not for better explanation, he is the one who created the Mighty Numbers. And the Mighty Numbers are, wow, Mighty Numbers are the robots that you see that have the special powers. The game takes place in the present year. We'll hear Aviator real quick.
And now, live from Aussie News World Headquarters, continuing coverage of Nation in Crisis. As you can see, the robot rampage is not letting up. It's chaos out here. Chaos! Will this be the end of our proud republic, or will a hero emerge to save the day? Whatever happens, Aussie News will be there. Your number one source for ethical journalism. We report, and you do whatever you want with it. Until next time, good night and good luck.
Yeah, if you didn't hate that, then I don't know what you may be into, because that was horrible. So, back to the narrative of the game. You play as Beck, who's a Mighty Number created by Dr. White, who created several other Mighty Numbers very similar to the Mega Man games. And you have to go in... Damn it, get up there.
That's more like it.
You have to go in and save them, because some virus is causing all of the Mighty Numbers to completely lose their shit. They're going wild, they're going crazy, they are terrorizing cities, causing mayhem, causing destruction. Very reminiscent of classic Mega Man games. However, you don't play this game for its narrative, because the narrative is, as I said, it's there, but it's terrible. Voice acting is horrible. Exposition is too frequent. The quips, or not the quips, I guess the banter between Dr. White and Dr. Sonda are so laughable, so cheesy. It tries to go for the sort of Saturday morning cartoon vibe of something like a Sonic X, if you remember that series, and it just doesn't land anywhere. So, mechanics of the game are relatively simple. You have a run. That is the slowest run I've ever seen in my life. You have a dash that you can do indefinitely because I don't know. You have a jump, of course, as would you always have in a 2D side-scrolling action platformer. No crouch, weirdly. No crouch. No crouch dash, though I guess if you press down and dash, it kind of acts as a crouch dash. It's really awkward, though. And the object of the game is to absorb these robots, their XL, which then gives Beck tangible upgrades. As you can see over my head there was a symbol indicating that I had, and I'm going to die here, indicating that I had extra power. So there's power, defense, and speed. You can actually tangibly see those because Beck moves faster, his bullets do a little bit more damage, they shoot through targets, or he takes less damage. So that's always exciting. Oh wow, and I guess I'm gonna die? Yep, I'm gonna die. We'll take it, I guess. The object of the game is to dash through these robots. Once you damage them enough, they become stabilized. They become a little pixelated, as you saw, and they get stabilized. So once they're stabilized, you dash through them and you absorb the XL, which gives Beck those tangible upgrades. You do the same thing with the bosses, and once you defeat them, you absorb their powers, a la Mega Man. So clearly there are a lot of Mega Man routes, which is totally fine. But the problem is, as you can see, it doesn't have that 16-bit 8-bit charm that a Mega Man game, or that the Mega Man games of the SNES era did have. So there's that. So it has some retro feel, but it takes the retro feel and throws a modern twist on it. But unfortunately, the modern twists, there isn't a conviction, there isn't a commitment to either side. It doesn't try to be, it doesn't do its best to be modern, nor does it do its best to be wholly retro either. It's kind of this weird middle ground of both modern and retro, thus not giving it much of an identity of its own. It tries too hard to be a Mega Man game, yet it tries too hard to not be a Mega Man game. And that hurts it. That hurts it a lot. The dash mechanic is really cool, dashing through and absorbing the enemy, seeing the tangible upgrade is interesting, but damn it. The problem with this dash is that there isn't... It's almost for no reason, because you can do it forever, you can speed through levels like this, and speeding through levels does not hurt you in any way, shape, or form. If you're trying to get a great score, then of course you want to speed through it fast and absorb the enemies in a combo, which as you absorb them you see a percentage appears after they have been absorbed, letting you know that you absorb them immediately after they are destabilized. The longer you wait, the less score you get for absorbing them. But there isn't much incentive to really get the grade, which is unfortunate. See, 80%. There isn't much incentive to really get the grade, to get the high grades. That was my fault. And that hurts the game. So there's that. Another thing that really hurts the game is the drab level design. So, as you can see, this level is kind of interesting. So there is the insta-kill area right there, that electricity field that I might end up hitting. Now we're just going to dash past him. So this level is kind of interesting with its, I guess, under construction skyscraper it's building, which is totally welcomed. But other levels are just incredibly boring. Absolutely boring. Poorly designed. The explosions look like straight garbage, which is unfortunate. And I didn't even realize I have no health. That's crazy. Level design is poor. Graphics are subpar, especially if you consider the way that the game used to look before it was finally pushed out. Much more interesting than this. And the boss fights are really the only time in the game where anything is... And we're just going to start over. The boss fights in the game are the only time where things are compelling, where things are actually interesting. Otherwise, they're kind of you know, it's just another 2D side-scroller, you're kind of just going through the levels and holy shit. Damn it, I died. A final problem that I have with the game is it's absolutely poor. Not so much gameplay mechanics, but the way that the game feels itself. So we're going to go through another level. What I mean by the gameplay itself is the way that it feels. So it's a platformer, as you saw. There are platforming levels, platforming elements to it, but Beck himself is too... the game is... the way he feels is stiff, yet it's so floaty that the precision is not there, which hinders the game. It absolutely hinders the game. And regardless of what level you're on, the voice acting is terrible. No matter who you're playing, who you're going against, whoever is talking, voice acting is terrible. Not interesting. So as we can see here, Beck he just moves so slow, and the jump, and again, see there's no crouch there, which is a problem. Beck, he just moves so slow. The jump is so pathetic. His speed is so disappointing. Yet he has this incredibly cool dash. It's a really odd design.
That's more like it. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
So we'll try to speed through this a little bit here. Ooh, almost died. Real close. So aside from
Bring it on.
my idiot self, aside from the issues, what does the game do right? The game is challenging. It has that Inafune flair of difficulty. As you saw, there are for sure Mega Man staples, I guess, of insta-death, totally pervading, which is fine. It's expected. If you've ever played Inafune's Mega Man level, then you...
You're heading into a tunnel. It might affect visibility.
If you've ever played Inafune's Mega Man level, then you know that his game design, and it totally shines here, which is what you should expect. But the development hell that this game went through for it to come out and for it to be so disappointing, to not make much of a commitment to either side of its modern sensibilities or its retro takes, is a problem. It doesn't need to be retro, but at the same time it doesn't need to be modern. It just needs to pick one, or if it's going to do both, it needs to do them both somewhat accurately, somewhat effectively. Otherwise it just ends up feeling like another clone, and it totally is just another clone. If we look at Shovel Knight, for example, by Yacht Club, that game for sure has its, retro sensibilities. It definitely is inspired by games like Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario Bros. It's inspired by Mega Man. It's inspired by DuckTales. I mean, there's a lot of Legend of Zelda. There's a lot of inspirations in that game, but it takes all of those inspirations and it makes the gameplay interesting. It takes them all and it does it in a fun, creative kind of way. Mighty No. 9 is just boring. And I think that's my biggest problem with the game. It's just completely boring. I just don't enjoy it. It's not fun to play. It's not fun to play because of its gameplay mechanics, though it has an interesting, I guess, design in terms of the way that it plays. The core gameplay mechanic, that loop, is just not satisfying in any way. On top of that, the terrible voice acting, the awful level design, or not awful, but the bland level design, the simplistic boss fights that are the bosses that are easily defeated with just his regular Buster Cannon it's not interesting. It's not good. It's not good. So that's my take. That's how I feel about Mighty No. 9. Overall, it could have been a really good game. It could have been a really solid game, but it just isn't, unfortunately. Be sure to check out our other content on groundpunch.com, and we'll see you on the next one.